Hi, I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. Before we get into tonight's show, which is called Pressure Brings Change, I would like to tell you about two wonderful milestones that concern our show. The first one is that tonight's show is the 1,000th show that we have done. That only took 20 years because we've been in constant original production the whole time. We don't really do repeats unless the studio closes or it snows and there's bad weather and the crew can't show up. So this is our 1,000th show, and I just want to say that I am very, very grateful, not only to you, my wonderful viewers, but to all of the crew members who have helped over these years making it the 1,000th show tonight. I really appreciate that. I also want to say that we've just reached another milestone that I found out about, and it is that this show, Starborn, has won 2 international awards. They are the 2013 Gold Communicator Award of Excellence, and they are the 2013 Silver Communicator Award of Distinction. So when I get the trophies, I'll show you what they look like. But we are very, very proud of that because it involved people from all over the world. It was a worldwide competition, and so I'm very, very grateful once again to everyone that got us through 1,000 original shows. I didn't really expect that, but that's where we are right now, so we're sort of proud of that. And we're certainly proud of never having missed a show, and unless the studio itself closed or there was bad weather. Okay, but tonight's show is all about pressure bringing change, and that is because the planets have spread out now, and so there can be pressure in different areas of your life, particularly 3 big pressure points that you might want to be aware of this week because they could get you in a little trouble. The first one is that today the moon in Leo is at 7 degrees and it is exactly square Saturn in Scorpio, also at 7 degrees. We say that the moon rules women and that Saturn rules generally men or authority figures, or we can say that it rules mothers and fathers. And since these 2 planets are in precise harsh square to each other, it simply means that there could be someone around that sort of wants to keep the party going, that wants to be extravagant, that is very, very generous, and that has the means to go ahead and try to make other people happy. And they want to keep doing that. But there's also somebody who's countering that now, someone who says, no, the bills have to be paid. The good old days are gone, and you need to save money instead. Both of these viewpoints are valid under certain circumstances, but I would say that men and women, mothers and fathers, are not agreeing about the cost of something right now, and that can lead to a great deal of pressure, and something's going to have to give sooner or later. And so it is simply an indication that people are not getting along, and they're certainly not agreeing. And it also means that extravagance will have to be curbed. And that is for another reason as well, not just because not everyone can afford it anymore, but because there are so many people that are suffering right now that it might be sort of in bad taste, or it might embarrass others to be a little too extravagant right now, because these are sure not the good old days. A second reason why there can be pressure right now is because 2 more planets are in exact square. Uranus in Aries is exactly at 11 degrees and it is precisely square. Pluto in Capricorn also at 11 degrees. Uranus in Aries could be depicting somebody who could be ahead of their time. They could be a genius. They certainly could be rebellious, but they certainly do want to do things their way, and they don't want to conform to policies or rules and regulations that can be depicted by Pluto in Capricorn, which rules management or people in control that make the rules and regulations and who are now insisting on accountability. And so the idea that somebody has really got to be much more accountable right now and follow strict guidelines is not going over too well, and that pressure can be building up to the point where I think somebody is going to rebel and simply break away. And that is because they can't stand to be cramped in conformity at all, and they don't want to be accountable for their actions. They just want to be accountable to themselves. The third area where there can be a lot of pressure right now is because there are planets in the fixed financial signs, and that is because the Sun and Mars are in Taurus, and they are being opposed by Saturn in Scorpio. And Saturn rules time-honored tradition and rewards earned the hard way through a lot of work, a good education, and a proven track record of accomplishment. And it does tend to represent people who have a good reputation in the community. That attitude is coming up against people who could be a little angry, a little jealous, a little greedy, a little overextended, and they don't want to work very hard and take small steps and do everything right. They simply want to get ahead, so they are pretty energized. But they're running up against people who are insisting on high standards right now. And so there's that pressure, that financial pressure right now that can actually even create some sort of financial explosion or crash right now between a steady way of doing things or a way that is more competitive and simply is ruled by whoever makes the fastest grab. And so that is going on as well. So there's a lot of pressure that can be building up right now, but remember, I mentioned that it's going to bring change. How is that going to happen? Well, the change can be the result of the fact that there are 3 wonderful planets in Gemini right now, and Gemini rules communication and change. So whatever pressure you are under, you are actually going to be able to make a smooth transition or a very easy change, and you may have to do that either due to financial difficulties or quarrels about how the money is spent in a family situation, or it can simply be that somebody may want to break away right now, and if they want to rebel, they are going to have to make some sort of change in their life. But change right now is beautifully favored for everyone, and that is because Mercury is in Gemini and it rules that sign, so it's very strong and particularly can emphasize very clear and wonderful communication. Venus is in the sign, which is a love planet and a planet that denotes good and harmonious partnerships, so you can get together with new people if you don't like your old friends. And Jupiter is also in the sign, and that simply means that there can be a lot of enthusiasm about making some sort of new start or getting together with people and maybe initiating a temporary project, or there can be buying and selling and promoting going on, and you really ought to think about doing that for yourself because it is so well aspected. So pressure is going to mount because these squares are exact or the oppositions are very fierce right now, but when that pressure mounts up and something's got to give, whatever change you want to make, you're going to be amazed at how easy it is to do it. All right, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, for you, I think that remember that you can be under a lot of pressure right now because Uranus is in your sun sign and it's at 11 degrees exactly square Pluto, which is retrograde in Capricorn, which means that somebody in a position of power, either in management or on a committee, or whoever makes the rules and regulations or policies for the long term, can be reviewing them right now, and they may be reviewing them because they don't feel that you are meeting the high standards that are being set. And so you could rebel against that, Aries, or else there can be some sort of restriction or change in policies that restricts you in some way, and you certainly wouldn't like that either. So I think, Aries, that this is a time when you may want to make a break for your freedom. And Jupiter and Venus in Gemini are sextile your sun, so you're going to be able to make an easy transition. But the good news is that that moon in Leo today is trining Uranus in your sun sign, and that simply means that there can be a very understanding woman around somewhere, somebody who does have a little extra money and probably could support you in any kind of change that you wanted to make right now. She would be in your corner, Aries. So this is a good time for you to think about making a change, not only that would be easy, but that would be well supported by somebody. You wouldn't be all by yourself, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, remember I said that one of the pressure points is coming from the fact that the Sun and Mars are in your sign and they are being strongly opposed by Saturn in Scorpio. It is retrograde right now, and so it simply means that people are going back in a rather cautious way and insisting on high standards of achievement or qualifications that are very thorough, or a lot of accountability right now. And all of those things have to be met before there can be any additional financing. And you may need some extra financing because your costs could be high, or it can be that revenues are not coming in the way they used to in the good old days. And so you may not have as much money to spend right now, and there can be a lot more things that you do need to spend it on. And so I think that you should consider some sort of change right now, Taurus, because Saturn is going to be opposing your sun sign for another 2 years. It doesn't leave until 2015. And so you are really going to be encountering further restrictions or higher demands upon your resources. And since Venus, Jupiter, and Mercury are in Gemini right ahead of your sun sign, and Venus is your own sun sign ruler, now's the time to try to make a change if you can, or buy and sell. That is what Gemini rules. And as I said last week, I would sell, 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 Taurus, because that will give you an additional financial cushion, and I think you're going to need it, particularly if you've been taking a gamble on anything, because now is when the bill is due, and you will have to pay up. So good luck on that. What does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is simply a time that can be sort of a golden time for you, and that's because your ruler, Mercury, is in your sign, Venus is there as well, which is a love planet, and Jupiter is there as well. Venus and Mercury are fast movers. They'll come up to conjunct Jupiter, and Venus will actually conjunct Jupiter by the end of the month, and that is a marriage tie. And so there are plenty of people, believe it or not, that are going to be getting married this year and next year, and that would be wonderful because it would expand families, and it also means that there can be more people sharing costs. And in this cost-conscious economy, that's a good idea. So you can be looking at change right now, Gemini, and be feeling very optimistic about it. And you can also be in the mood for love. And I think you can attract really good partners, and they can be anywhere. So you need to get out and socialize, Gemini, because you're going to be very, very popular for the next 2 months. Congratulations. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is a time when you can be feeling some pressure as well, not because you're causing it, Cancer, but because yours is a cardinal sign, and so is the sign of Libra, and that Uranus in Aries is squaring your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is opposing your sun, and those two planets are so harshly squaring each other that the residue from that pressure that they have built up can influence you and Libra as well. And so I would say that you need to sort of soften your attitude a little bit, or try to downplay something and be really cautious right now, Cancer, because after all, you do have Venus and Jupiter in Gemini right behind your sun sign, which means in the background of your life, there can be some easy change that either you are contemplating and that you will really succeed at, or there can be another member of your family that's also anticipating change. It may be that somebody is moving on, Cancer. And if I were you, I would not get in their way. Just stand back, Cancer, and let them do it, because they're under wonderful aspects to succeed at that. And you might be very, very happy to have somebody sort of move on right now, not because you dislike them, but because your life could be a little calmer if they go ahead and move on. And so that is why, if I were you, I would just stand back and let them do that. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is certainly a time when you can be feeling the brunt of the pressure that is building up among financial signs, because Saturn in Scorpio is squaring your sun, and the Sun and Mars in Taurus are also squaring your sun, where you have the moon today. And so there are quite a few planets in the fixed signs that are harshly aspecting each other. And that simply means you could get your little feelings hurt right now, Leo, because you're a generous person. You don't mind being extravagant and being nice to other people, but other people have different attitudes about money right now. Some people can be insisting on saving money for a rainy day, which seems to be a good idea, and also trying to get bills paid off. And that is not always what you're interested in, but that's what they're interested in, so that can be putting pressure on you. Some people can be jealous of your generosity, actually, and they can be jealous of what a kind of a leader you are and how popular you are. So that Sun and Mars in Taurus can be revengeful, and that can hurt your feelings. In other words, all you want to do is be liked and make other people happy. But there are some people that would just want to stop you right now, Leo. So what can you do? Well, why don't you go off in a new direction? Uranus in Aries is trining your sun. And since Uranus is trining the moon, and those two planets are very intuitive, you may have a really good hunch about how to help somebody else out that wants to make a new start right now, and that would be a great idea. It might not involve a lot of money. It might involve encouragement and support, which your loving heart would be happy to give. So I think you could get away from the greed or the jealousy or the strictness of other people if you just concentrated on helping somebody else in a very supportive way, and I bet you can do that, Leo. All right, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is simply a time when I think that you aren't going to be actually pressured by anything, except that you can be thrown a little bit off balance by the changes that are made right now. There isn't any real pressure on your sun sign, but as other people do feel pressure and it builds up and it forces some sort of change right now, you will be affected, Virgo. I don't think you'll be affected financially. I don't think your boat is going to get rocked. But as other people make changes, they can interrupt your schedule, or they could be doing things that require extra time, and you are very good at time management. You don't like to waste it at all. But right now, your ruler, Mercury and Venus and Jupiter, are all in Gemini, and they are squaring your sun. So it's people who want to make change may not exactly know how that's going to turn out or what direction they're really going in, and so they can be sort of bothering you and pestering you right now. So you will have to adjust to change, and I think that that'll be all right with you as long as the Sun and Mars in Taurus are trining your sun, and Pluto in Capricorn is also trining your sun. It simply means that you're on rock solid ground, particularly in a financial setting or in a career setting. It's just the changes that other people are making can be a little unsettling right now, so I hope you try to be very patient, Virgo. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, this is wonderful for you because all three planets in Gemini, and that is Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, are trining your sun. And one of them is your ruler, Libra, Venus. And so you could be looking for love, or else love is looking for you, Libra. And if you wanted to form new partnerships or begin work on a temporary project that could amount to something more permanent later on, or if you simply wanted to buy and sell or promote or advertise, this would be a great time to do that. So as long as you get together with other people and consult with them, I think your future is looking very bright. And in fact, the sky's the limit as to where it can lead. So do go out and make new friends right now. They will welcome you with open arms, Libra, and it will make you happy too. In fact, there could be a little romantic interest going on as well. So I don't think you have anything to lose by change right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is the time when, yes, you are under pressure. You're not going anywhere, but you can be pummeled now by people who are vengeful. They can be not only seeking revenge, they can be angry at the high standards that you are insisting upon, or the fact that you feel you have a good education or you have a good track record of accomplishment, and so you are not going to get out of the way for them. They're not going to steamroll over you, but they could be trying to make your life miserable, and they could be very angry. So you need to diffuse a potentially volatile situation by sort of receding into the background if you can, Scorpio, because I think people are finally getting the message that you are not going to budge and you are not going to compromise your standards at all. And as they begin to realize that nothing is working, they will have to make a change instead. And I think that is just beginning to dawn on them right now. Change is so beautifully favored, though, that you're doing them a favor, Scorpio, because anybody who goes through change right now is actually going to be much happier for it. However, I don't think you're going to change very much. I think that you're just going to remain steady right now, and you should. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, this is simply a time when I think the good things may be leaving you. And the reason why I say that is because Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in Gemini are all opposing your sun. And so that simply means other people are moving on. Other people are going through changes. The changes might be temporary, but I think there's some sort of move coming up. Either someone else is going to be making a move very soon, or you are, Sagittarius. Whatever happens, you're going to have some support, and that's because Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, and the moon today in Leo is also trining your sun. So there can be some backup that you've got right now, some loving support, even somebody who's cheering you on right now, Sagittarius, and there can be a door opening for a new beginning for you. It's just when I say the good things are leaving you, I think it's the old lifestyle that can be leaving you as either it moves on or you do. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when I think that you can benefit from some of the pressure that's going on in the financial signs, because something's going to have to give. And I think that it's going to be that the Mars and the Sun in Taurus, which do trine your Sun, are going to have to consider some sort of change. Either that, or there's going to be a really big blowout, and nobody's going to win. And so the way to win is to change. You might consider that yourself, but I don't think you really need to do that, Capricorn. And that is because Pluto in your sign is exactly squaring Uranus in Aries, and Uranus is quite capable of sudden change. That's what that planet rules. So somebody could be forcing you to change your mind, or to bend the rules, or to make policies that favor them. And I don't think you're going to go for that at all, Capricorn. And so I think instead that you are going to somewhat rest on your laurels. You have a good track record. You really don't have to listen to anybody else right now. Instead, if I were you, I'd just sort of stand pat. It may be a little hard to get your hands on money that has been promised to you, so you might have to be a little bit patient and wait until some changes are underway, and then things can open up for you. And in the meantime, I think you just need to stay where you are, Capricorn, because you're doing fine. It's other people that have a problem, but I don't think you do. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is a wonderful time for you. And the reason why is I think you can be stuck financially because Saturn in Scorpio is squaring your Sun, and the Sun and Mars are also squaring your Sun. So other people are having pretty big money problems, and it is affecting you, perhaps by delaying something that you want to put into place right now. So what you should do is you should concentrate on other little things that could be bothering you, Aquarius, and one of them could be love. And the reason why is that I don't think there's been a joyous love life in your life lately, but there can be in the future, and that is because Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter are all in Gemini, trining your Sun beautifully. So even if you don't have a lot of money to spend on going out right now or on entertaining, you could go to things where it's free. And it doesn't matter if you spend any money or not right now, Aquarius. What really matters is that you network, because somebody could be looking for you and they would have a light in their eye too, Aquarius. Because remember, when Venus comes up to conjunct Jupiter at the end of May, it will indicate a marriage tie, and those planets are trining your sun. So there is somebody wonderful out there just waiting to meet you, Aquarius. I hope you go out and meet them too. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when I think that you just need to be a little bit careful, because you too can be thrown off by the changes that other people are making. And that is because Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in Gemini are all squaring your sun. So as people do feel a lot of pressure right now to change, they can be amazed at how easy it is for them. And so you could be seeing your friends sort of coming and going, Pisces, and doing all kinds of things, and maybe you can't even keep up with all of them right now. You really don't need to. The thing that you should be doing, since you do have a charitable nature, is that you should be trying to help others who have been supporting you in the past, particularly somebody who has a good track record, but who is besieged right now by people who can be enemies. And so if you could lend a helping hand to somebody who has been good to you or has given you a chance in the past, I think they would really appreciate it, Pisces. And besides, you know, it's sort of like being an angel, and that is what your sign represents. So I know that in your heart, you can be a really good angel right now. All right, thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for getting us to our 1000th show, which is tonight. And please remember, you can see our show anytime you want on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.